everyone here owns their own business. Technically, they can run things however they want. But when you have a blueprint for people to be successful and start making 10, 20 grand a month, and they're going to do it within the first 3 months, it's relatively easy.
Let's jump into building.
Okay.
Because you have built a fantastic business. I'd love to hear, did the numbers, the growth, did you just explode? Was it slow, ups, downs? And then what are you doing to continue to cultivate it? And how are you getting new agents started and successful so fast?
Yeah, so it did explode. Like the last 4 months ago, it blew up. And the reason for that is because up until 4 months ago, it was just me building, right? I was the only one bringing people in. I was the only one mentoring. I was the only one doing the training, yada, yada, yada. So that makes it, and it's completely okay. But in order to scale, you have to have leaders, right? You have to have systems in place. You have to have things in place so when people come into your business, they can implement what you have in your business and put it into their business, right? Because everyone here owns their own business. Technically, they can run things however they want. But when you have a blueprint for people to be successful and start making 10, 20 grand a month, and they're going to do it within the first 3 months, it's relatively easy, right? So what we did to explode is offices, right? If your agents or anyone in your business has an office, you need to fly to an office, log in with them for a week. In-person training helps a ton, right? And there's more offices growing in FFL than I think there ever has before. There's probably one or two in every state at this point. Find an office near you, even if it's with a different agency, and just message whoever the agency owner is. I guarantee you they will help you. That's one monster thing. Now, for scaling and getting a new agent up and running really fast, it all comes down to leads and learning the business, right? So this is what I always tell new people, and this is what we go off of is, you're either the person who has money and no time, right? Or you have no money and a lot of time, right? So those people who have a lot of money, they're trying to get out of the situation they're in. They're trying to replace their income, trying to go into this full-time from their current full-time job, yada, yada, yada. They have enough money to where they might only be able to work 4 or 5 hours a day, 3, 4, 5 hours a day. They need to immediately get into higher intent leads from people requesting it so that they can get paid fast. That's one big thing, is getting people paid fast. If you're the person that has no money and a lot of time, I was talking to Easton Patton about this earlier, is, okay, great. You have $300 in your account. Okay, these are the leads you need to get these leads. If something happens and you work your butt off and you don't close anything, I will help you with your next batch because you're giving effort. You have skin in the game, right? So when you show that you have support for your agents, they're going to work twice as hard, right? And it all comes down to everyone surrounded in the group. When you have, 10 people on your group that's doing $10,000, $15,000 of premium a week that they can learn from, it creates a culture, right? Having a culture of everyone who comes from different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different everything coming into one group and making it work and putting in the same system and resources to get paid makes it very, very easy to replicate it, right? So then other people can come in really easy and not easy, it takes a lot of work, but if they put in the work, they can see the results, right? That's one really big thing is just lead systems and being able to pour into people. You have to trust them, and you have to, want them to do well as if you would want yourself to do really well, right? And another thing is being transparent. When I'm on a recruit call with someone, Grady, I tell them all the bad things in the business that can happen, how hard it is your first 2-3 months, how hard it can be, and how great it will be if you stay. If you get through the hard time, it's going to be good, right? Anyone who's been in this business with me for 5 months or more is still here, right? 6 months and still here. And the reason is because at that point, they learned the business. They went through all the hardships. They went through all the things. Like I said earlier, anyone in this business who's built a multi-million-dollar a month or a year business has went through the same things that you're going through. I promise you, it's probably worse than it is. Last year, like before, it was a lot worse than it is now, I think. With the in-homes and how bad the leads were. Leads are so much better now. People are higher intent. There's more money in the world than there ever has been before. There's more families to protect. As long as you're able to learn the skills, there's no reason why you can't make this work. It just all comes down to you, your emotions, keeping your level head, and just, if you come in the business and someone was transparent with you about what this business is, there's no reason why you shouldn't be successful in it.
So what are more specificity, which is great. I love the overarching get to an office, get to work. You got $300 in leads or $1,000. What leads are we getting started with? What time are they dialing? What is a cadence? You're starting new agents. Is it 55, work for 55 minutes, take 5-minute walk around the office? Is it, are you getting them up and throwing them in cold plunges in the parking lot? Like, is it a new agent boot camp? What if I can't get to an office, but I'm really committed to this? I got 3 kids. I'm going to take 2 weeks of vacation time from my job, and I'm going to crank and be on Zoom every single day. Yes, I know I need to get to an office, but I live in New Jersey and you live in California, but dude, I'm committed. Like, let's get more specifics for like actionable steps of these agents on here who want their production, they want higher success, but they're giving themselves too much grace and now they need actual directives.
Okay, so for someone who, let's just say, like your example, you have $300, immediately go into the ILC and get the silver final expense leads, the $2 ones. That gives you 150 chances to protect the family and get paid. Okay, what your schedule needs to be this business, and worry about what your schedule is outside of this. It needs to be 10 hours. I don't care. There's no get ups and walks. There's no get ups and change to go like get a drink of water, yada, yada, yada. It's 8-10 hours a day straight, Monday through Saturday. If you want this to work, that's what you're going to do. Okay, and that's what all the leaders do. Okay, so those 150 leads, you're going to double to triple dial those each time, 2 to 3 times a day. Okay, every single day. Dial them at different times, use different phone numbers, whatever you have to do to dial those leads. Okay, and you're going to do that for 2, 3, 4, 5 days, as long as it takes to get you to where you're doing a presentation. Be on Zoom. If you're somewhere where you can't be on an office, our entire team and anyone else is on Zoom. There's calls, there's everything you can do to be surrounded by people who are dialing on the phones. Learn from people who are unmuting on Zoom, doing all these different things. And if you're somewhere where you can't get to an office and you get into a presentation, you have to unmute. How can your leaders, how can I help you get to that next point to where you're selling twice as much if I don't know what your presentation sounds like on the phone, right? Learning your script, all of those things, but it just comes down to your schedule is literally 8 to 8 needs to be this business. If you have to take an hour to go do things personally, you have 3 kids, things like that, you have to do it. Those are non-negotiables. But you have to come back and do this business no matter how hard it gets. And you have to have the leads. Okay. So if you're going to dial final expense leads, you're going to get your teeth kicked in a little bit. But you have to dial. You have to get through those leads and dial them. It is what it is. Dial on your phone. If you hit a time of day where your dialing service won't let you dial because it's getting late, use your cell phone. Do whatever you have to do to make this work. And a lot of people come to this business talking about schedule. Oh, like, what are the hours? Is it 4 hours on, 4 hours off, whatever? No, you just dial the damn phone. You just work. I don't get it. I don't get why people are trying to take 20-minute rests or trying to go take a walk to clear your head. No, you need to be involved in this business to make it work, whatever you have to do. And that's it, really. I mean, that's the schedule. That's why I put everyone too. Everyone who comes into the office, everyone who's on Zoom is on 10, 12 hours a day, dialing the phone and following the script. That's it. You follow the script, you have enough leads, you're going to close someone. Even at a bronze or silver leads off the ILC, there's some gold in there sprinkled in there. You just got to get a hold of them. And you're not going to get a hold of them unless you're dialing. That's it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So where are you guys recruiting from now? Where are you finding new people? What are some qualities of a person that you think would be a good fit for this business? And maybe some red flags of people that you're like, listen, we're just not hiring right now. Check back to this in 6 months.
Okay. Yeah. So most of my recruiting comes from warm market, word of mouth, and then outreach on social media. Social media is everywhere, right? I think we talked about this at convention. If you hear someone's name or someone reaches out to me, the first thing I'm doing is I'm looking them up on Instagram, right? So in order for people to trust you, you have to have a little bit of a social media presence. Post about this business. A lot of people that reach out to me that bring in the business are because they come from replying on my stories or posts, things like that. One of the biggest guys in my business, he was working at a bank. He was a 22-year-old bank teller. And I walked in, I was like, hey, how old are you? And he said, he was like maybe 20. And I was like, I didn't even know. I was like, why are you working at a bank at 20 years old? Next to these older ladies that were also working at the thing are like, who's this kid? And and long and behold, a month later, he joins the business and he did Hall of Fame last year, his first year, right? So just cold outreach, that's free. That doesn't even cost you anything. Okay, and then outreach on Instagram is huge. So like I'll send a voice memo to someone at door to door. I target sales door to door, already licensed agents, car sales, anyone who's on like the business hashtag. I'll send messages to people who outreach to me is huge. I mean, you'll definitely get agents doing that. LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that. Use your resources, it's free. Next thing is, people that I wouldn't bring in the business. Okay, now this is hard because you don't know what someone's gonna do in this business. You have no clue by talking to them. And if any of you guys went to convention, there was a different walk of life on that stage every time. It doesn't like you could be 20, 18, or 60 and just crush this business, right? It doesn't matter where you come from. It literally just takes work and effort. So it's hard for me to turn people down. I will say that. Like I'll always give someone a chance and I'll use the licensing process as a natural filter. They can't pass their exam, they can't get through the studying, then it wasn't meant to be, right? But if someone's on the phone like, oh, do you have hourly wage? Or, oh, do you have this? And they complain more than they hear on the first recruit call, that's obviously a clear sign it's not going to work out. So like I'll listen to the obvious signs on the call. But other than that, I'll put anyone through coursework. If they can't pass their exam, then it wasn't meant to be. Which I think most people should do that because you never know. Jay Maska, one of the biggest names in the insurance industry, was sleeping on someone's dude's couch, drinking all the time. If I talked to him, I'd be like, dude, I don't know. Look at him now. So like, why wouldn't you recruit? And he does the same thing. He uses, I just learned from him, he uses the testing stuff as a natural filter. So recruits in this business, you don't know who's going to be good. You don't know who's going to be bad. And yeah, that's what I do.
That's awesome. That's great. I mean, it's similar. You're asking them good questions. Are they someone whom you'd want to talk to more, right? Are they someone who has a drive for change? I use my family example. Do they have someone that they're fighting for each and every day? You got a lot. You guys have there's a surgence of bachelors and bachelorettes, young guns that are killing it. And which has a place, and it's incredible to see, but there's always still someone that's like, they got a chip on their shoulder. They grew up in the wrong part of town. They, didn't have a great relation with their parents. They've gone through hard times and overcome addiction. Those type of people are winners, right? And not that the others aren't winners, but they're people that have seen adversity and chosen to rise above it and push through it. And now here they are, and they're just looking for the right opportunity. So, I mean, that's great. It's, phenomenal call. I'll pass it to you to close this out. Any final advice you've got for everybody? But this has been an awesome call. My favorite line you said at the top of the call was, "My parents had great jobs, but they were never there." And that's just such a powerful thing as I think about you and your new family and anyone else out there that has the desire to have a family and spend as much time as possible with them. It is truly the most incredible thing. Now, I love my kids. They need to know that dad does go to work and he's just not hanging out, at the house all the time, right? So there is a divide between that, but to not miss anything that's important, right? That's truly where you've created a lifestyle freedom and a time freedom that should be envied and should be one that is modeled after, because the most important, as the words in our company's name, Family First Life, that's truly what we're trying to do and create here. So I'll pass it to you to close us out, man, but it's been an awesome call.
Yeah, I appreciate you again for bringing me on. I mean, the last thing is you can always make excuses to not do something, and it's just never going to get done. I mean, this business, like everyone has problems. There's just more work to do. This business is like I said, it couldn't be any simpler. It makes more millionaires than any other industry combined. There's no reason why anyone can't do this. You just really have to put your equity into it, blood, sweat, everything into it to make it work. But once it does, it's going to change your life. I tell it to everyone. If you're second guessing doing this, you're going to look back at yourself 2 years from now, wishing you would have done it. Because if not, where are you going to be, right? And if you're my age, when I first started, 20, 21, 22, 23, what do you have to lose? You have nothing to lose. If this business doesn't work, you're great. You're 22, 23. Go back to what you're doing before, right? It's really not that hard. You just have to trust yourself and put all your effort into it. Because it can be really hard, but you just gotta focus. You have dreams, you have ambitions, you have a why. That's huge. You always have to have a why. If your why is just to make money and the money comes, you're gonna get complacent, right? I just want to make money. Probably not gonna work long term. You might make some money, but if you don't have another reason, kids, family, financial freedom, giving back to a church, starting a nonprofit, whatever it is, you have to have something that you look forward to. And I do every day. I have a family. I have a 2-month-old daughter. I want to make sure my future kids have the entire world to their hands, right? So that's my biggest thing is have a why, have a reason, work your butt off, and this business will return tenfold.